more, but I'm a little tight because I'm traveling to Europe today, so my apologies. Um, so we'll be speaking today of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, Text 28. Very beautiful verse. And I'll first chant Mangalacharana prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Mam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Videha Huvacha Manye Bhagavata Shakshat Parshadanvo Madhudishaha Vishnur Bhutani Lokanam Pavanaya Charantihi. Go over the word for word. Shri Videha Uvacha. King Videha said, Manye, I consider Bhagavata of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of the Supreme Lord, Sakshat directly, Parshadan, personal associates, Vaha, you, Madhudvishaha, of the enemy of Madhu, Vishnu, of Lord Vishnu, Bhutan, the servants, Lokanam, of all the worlds, Pavanaya, for the purification, Charanti, they move about, he indeed. King Videha said, I think you must be the direct associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is famous as the enemy of the demon Madhu. Indeed, the pure devotees of Lord Vishnu wander throughout the universe, not for their personal selfish interest, but to purify all the conditioned souls. Purport. King Nimi here welcomes the great sages by glorifying their transcendental activities. It is well known that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the three modes of material nature as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Mam Ebhya Param Avyayam. Similarly, his pure devotees are also on the transcendental platform. One may ask how such transcendental living beings as the associates of Lord Vishnu could be seen within the material world. Therefore, it is stated here, Pavanaya Charantihi. The associates of Lord Vishnu travel throughout the universe to reclaim the fallen conditioned souls on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A representative of the governor may be seen moving within the prison house, but that does not mean that the governor's presence, a representative, has become a conditioned prisoner. It is understood that he's within the prison to negotiate the possible release of those prisoners who have rectified their criminal propensity. Similarly, the devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Parivrajikacharyas. And they wander through the universe, inviting everyone to surrender to Lord Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead, for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge. In the sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the mercy of the associates of Lord Vishnu has been described in connection with the salvation of Ajamila. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has pointed out that the associates of Lord Vishnu are as merciful as the Lord himself. Even though the ignorant members of human society are not interested in approaching the servants of Lord Vishnu, the devotees of the Lord, without any false prestige, act to liberate the conditioned souls from their perpetual misfortune. Mukham karoti vachanam pangam langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum dinatarinam. So praying for the blessings of all the Vaishnavas present here, especially all the senior Vaishnavas, Adi Purush Prabhu and Arjuna Prabhu and others here to speak on the Srimad Bhagavatam and to glorify the devotees. Because this verse speaks about the glories of the Vaishnavas. And these glories are extensive. So he says, King Nimi, first of all, he's addressed here as Videhi. Does anyone know the meaning of the word Videhi? Actually, it's Videha, sorry, Videha. Videha.
Without body?
Nobody?
Yes, without body. Does anyone remember the story about King Nimi, which we've already heard? It's probably like a couple years ago now. There's a story about him in the ninth canto. So
Well,
there,
he loses.
yeah, go
He
ahead.
loses. Yeah, I can't remember the details, but he loses his body. But then we were just hearing a couple days ago that can be seen in the eyelids. Is that right?
Yes, that could be. I don't know that information, but uh, so yeah, he wanted to perform a sacrifice, and he approached his guru. It seems to be his family guru Vashishta, who acted as his priest. So he said, "I want to do this sacrifice," and he says, "Yes, we'll do it, but I have to first go to Indra Loka to perform a sacrifice for Lord Indra, and when that's done, then I'll return. And when I'll return, then we'll do this sacrifice for you. So just wait." So Nimi knew that human life is very short, so he didn't want to wait. He just wanted to go on with his business of serving the Supreme Lord through this sacrifice. He was a very enlightened king. So um, so he just started. He gathered other priests and he just did the sacrifice. So when Vashishta came back, he was very upset, became very angry that he felt that he was overstepped by etiquette was overstepped. by Maharaj Nimi, and he cursed him to die, that his body may fall down. And then King Nimi also cursed him. Say, yeah, you're acting supposed to be my guru, but you're cursing me for no fault. And you were greedy to go to Indraloka to perform the sacrifice there to get the remuneration from Lord Indra, which is heavenly and vast. So you die because you're not acting actually as a spiritual master at this point. So um, so indeed, Maharaj Nimi, at that time, his body fell down, and then all the priests continued to do the sacrifice. They've completed the sacrifice, and they prayed for all the demigods present for the boon to bring Nimi back to life. And they gave a boon. Yes, well, he will come back to life. So yeah, Nimi, he was given that blessing, but he refused it. He said, "I don't want this blessing. I don't want the material body. This material body is just a source of so much trouble. I don't need it." So then he received the blessing that he would be without a material body, videhi, without a material body. So and Prabhupada explains he became an associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like it said in this verse. So it seems to be chronologically that incident took place after what is this conversation, which is cited here by which is cited here in the Bhagavatam at this point. But yes, and why did he become so enlightened? Why did he become an associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Because he's receiving the association of the the direct associates of the Supreme Lord. So he considered these Nava Yogendras, these 9 naked saints, as direct associates of the Supreme Lord. So of course, Nimi was already very enlightened in order to see that, because many will not be able to see that. But he could tell from their effulgence, from their influence. And as Jagannath Prabhu very nicely described yesterday, he saw that these personalities had appeared in his palace because he was so eager to have such association. His heart was hungry, he was crying for this kind of association. So when these associates appeared, he could immediately recognize them. Similarly, Maharaj Parikshit, he was cursed to die in 7 days, sitting on the bank of the Ganges. And with his intense eagerness to hear the glories of the Lord, to also return home back to Godhead, to become fully spiritually realized. His intense desire, intense hunger for that. And therefore, when Shukadev Goswami appeared, he could immediately recognize, although he was also a naked saint, an avadut, and not recognized in human society. There was actually a band of women and children and other people, like village people, following him, making fun of him. And they were even like throwing things at him. Similarly with Lord Rishabhadev, who was the Supreme Personality of God himself. But he also took this path of the Avadhuta. And he was also abused like that. So such people are not always recognized, even though they're effulgent and they're divine beings. So all the sages in the assembly could immediately recognize the glory of Shukadev Goswami by his physical features, by his transcendental effulgence. And certainly Maharaj Parikshit could recognize, because he had this hunger. I wanna understand the supreme absolute truth. And in response to that desire, Shukadev Goswami appeared. And it's like that for us as well. It's not that this is some ancient story in the past alone. It is not that the associates of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna do not wander this world. As a matter of fact, we're sitting here in New York City, where we celebrate Srila Prabhupada's yeah, pastimes. And so the question is raised in the purport. How is it that the associates of the Lord, who are as transcendental as he is, they have the same quality. They're beyond the modes of the material nature. How is it that they're seen in this material world? And then it says that they wander, charanti, for the purification of all conditioned souls. So it's the Lord's desire that those who are suffering in this material nature are liberated. And that's why the Lord himself appears and he sends his very dear associates into this world on his behalf to purify, pavanaya, for purification of all the worlds, all the people in the worlds. So we see that in Srila Prabhupada, the direct associate of the Lord, who wandered the entire world. 14 times he went around, not for any selfish purpose, but just to liberate those who are fallen, those who are suffering, because the heart is crying in compassion, and the heart of the pure devotees, they know the Lord's heart, and they want to assist the Lord in reclaiming those who have fallen, those who are averse to him. And often it's a thankless task, because this world is the world where people are averse to Krishna. They are averse to becoming devotees. That's the very reason why this world is here. It's for those who are averse to the Lord, turned away from the Lord. And when they hear the message that turn towards Krishna, engage in devotional service, it's not a very palatable thing for many conditioned souls to hear. To hear that all your material enjoyment is totally futile and it leads to suffering, it's not very palatable to hear. So often these great souls, they speak very cutting words to cut off the material attachments of the conditioned souls. And they're sadhus, and they speak the truth. And that's not often appreciated by the sinful and crooked souls in this world, who simply live for their selfish interest. So it's a thankless task. But the pure devotees, the associates of the Lord, they take on this suffering, whatever suffering comes from this, having to wander into this world. They take this as they take this gladly, because their interest is to purify the conditioned souls, and they are willing, as Prabhupada said, they're willing to shed gallons of blood to make one devotee. And in our own outreach activities, we also understand how difficult it is. And like we did a Diwali program, and like 1,000 people or so came to the door. And then we did a follow-up program, maybe like 50 people signed up for that, maybe 25 people showed up. And then eventually maybe one person of that or may become serious, or not, even not, they may just start the practice, which is also wonderful. So it just takes so much effort to bring one conditioned soul to Krishna consciousness, gallons of blood. And Prabhupada said we should be willing to do this. They are certainly willing to do it. So that is the glory of these pure associates of the Lord. And then we may think, oh yeah, that's Prabhupada. Yeah, he was born in a Vaishnava family in Bengal. He's clearly like Prabhupada, never committed a sin in his life. He was so, yeah, from such a, he said himself, there was never a time where I've forgotten Krishna, even in this life. So, and then we may think, well, that's Prabhupada. And yeah, there's no such associates in the world wandering the world right now. That's very rare. That never happens. Do we know? So I want to read a little section of the Chaitanya Bhagavat, which I find very, very inspiring. Because we often don't know who is who in this world. So this is from the second chapter of the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And it speaks about the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. And it also speaks about the appearance of many Vaishnavas who appeared before Lord Chaitanya. So this is text 40-45 of chapter 2 of the Adi Lila. So of course, Lord Chaitanya appeared on the bank of the Ganges in Mayapur. But then many of his associates appeared in what's considered less pious places where the Ganges doesn't flow. And even some, like Haridas Thakur, appeared in a Muslim family. So it says here, the banks of the Ganges are most sanctified. Why then would a Vaishnava, an associate of the Lord, take birth at an impious place? The Lord appeared on the bank of the Ganges. So why did his associates appear in distant places? So then Vrindavan Das Thakur will answer this. And it's a beautiful section, which is very, very important for us. Out of compassion, Lord Krishna ordered his great devotees to appear in places where the Ganges does not flow, where the holy names are not chanted, and where the Pandavas did not visit. Sri Chaitanya descended to deliver the entire universe. He has confirmed this with his own words. The Lord had his devotees who are equal to him. Again, this point is made. Apana samana. The associates, the dear associates of the Lord are equal to him. The Lord had his devotees who are equal to him appear at impious places and in impure families to deliver everyone. So in the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati quotes a verse which says that in whatever family a Vaishnava appears, his family, mother, birthplace, and residence become purified, and his forefathers dance in the heavens. In whatever place or family a Vaishnava appears, people for hundreds of thousands of miles around are delivered. I'll repeat this once more. In whatever place or family a Vaishnava appears, people for hundreds of thousands of miles around are all delivered. Wherever the Vaishnavas go, that place becomes a sanctified place of pilgrimage. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya had his devotees appear in all different countries, not just India, not just Bengal, not just the banks of the Ganges or other holy places. Sri Chaitanya, to deliver the whole universe, to deliver everyone, had his devotees appear in all different countries, in all different families. And although the devotees appeared in various places, they all met together in Navadvip. So when Lord Chaitanya appeared in Navadvip and started his pastimes, especially when he started his Sankirtan movement, then all devotees, they came together there. So it's a very important understanding here, because devotees, yeah, even they may not even appear in Vaishnava families, even the associates of the Lord. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he appeared not in a Vaishnava family, but in a Shakta family. And he even says that when he took initiation, he writes in his autobiography, he felt he was cleared of the sin of meat eating. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is, from all his activities, what he's done, he's from his writings, from his books, from discovering the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, from having a son like Bhaktisiddhanta, we see is such an important Vaishnava, like clearly a liberated soul. We definitely accept him as such because of his activities, but he was also born not in a very uh, pious, somewhat pious, but not a super pious family. And why wouldn't the Lord's associates appear in the West in families? Even Prabhupada, and that's what I heard recently, don't have the exact reference, but it's purported that he said also that actually many of his disciples, they just took birth they're actually devotees of Krishna, but they just took birth to assist him in his movement. So who are the Vaishnavas? Who are uh, the the great devotees who are around us, who may have been born in impious families, may have had many bad habits, but when they heard about Krishna, when they heard Bhagavad Gita, when they saw the devotees, they immediately stopped everything and joined the Sankirtan party of the Lord. These are very special souls. So who is who? Who are the devotees, even who surround us, who we interact with every single day? We may see just the human side of them, but who knows? Maybe they were an associate, they are an associate of the Lord, or maybe they're already quite advanced. And we see how few people actually have enough shraddha, enough faith to take up Krishna consciousness. And we do so much outreach, so many books, so many classes, so many kirtans, so few actually who really have that faith. Yes, I accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. And I'm taking to not just devotional service. My aim in life is pure devotional service. I want to become a pure devotee of the Lord, nothing less. Those who come to that level, to have that level of faith, they're the rarest of the rare. They are most exalted. Even if they're just starting, even if they're still on the neophyte platform, it's still a very exalted situation. If you compare it to all the billions and incalculable conditioned souls who are averse to Krishna, and many are not averse to Krishna, or they have some.
Vasudev, close there.
Pause for a minute. We can hear you now, I think. We can see.
But so few have actually that faith to take up devotional service. Um, uh, and so we should really, and what will they be in the next life? Narada Muni was just a young boy hearing from the Bhaktivedantas, a young boy of a maidservant. He didn't even know his father. Very humble kind of situation also. and he became Narad Muni in his next life. So who are we associating with now, and who will they become? So with that spirit, we should really honor the Vaishnavas. Like Maharaj Nimi is honoring the Nava-Yogendras. We should have that very broad vision, because in this movement of Lord Chaitanya, many Vaishnavas are taking birth in different countries and different places just to purify those places. And it's confirmed by Srila Prabhupada that one of his disciples, he told one life member that please help this boy, he's a direct associate of Lord Chaitanya. So such people are certainly among us, even now. And we should also have that hunger, that eagerness. Yes, I want to meet such people. I want to take shelter of such devotees. I want to hear from such devotees. They are certainly there, and we can certainly take advantage of their presence. It's not just a book. It's not just a story in the book. It's what we can experience right now, right here. And that's the most inspiring thing. It's all depends on our desire. Krishna consciousness depends on our desire. If our desire is pure, Krishna will reciprocate, and we can have this experience of meeting the associates, the direct associates of the Supreme Lord, even now, even today. So I thank you all so much. So yes, opening it up for questions and comments.
Thank you, Vasudev Prabhu. Jeffrey Eckler is asking how to ensure that we understand the special nature of having a personal relationship with God, but do not present it as being superior or somehow elite. Everyone has a personal relationship with God. How do we honor that while encouraging a deeper dive into that nectarian relationship?
Yes. So yes, the neophyte tendency is to just look at me and God and just look at my, let's say, my spiritual family. And that's where only true devotion can be found. That's the tendency of the neophyte devotee. So by spiritual association, by association of advanced devotees, we should rise to the Madhyama platform. So the Madhyama platform is defined as having love for the Supreme Lord, as making friendship. The Madhyama seeks to make friendship with the Lord's devotees, seeks to uplift those who are less fortunate and avoid those who are envious. So the Madhyama knows how to deal with different individuals. So, and that is all based on respect. So we respect all devotees of the Lord in all different sampradayas, and even in all other spiritual traditions, those who are genuinely seeking the Lord. At the same time, there is a chastity we have to our own spiritual lineage. We came to Krishna through a particular lineage. We connected to the Lord through a particular lineage. So that's why, of course, we want to especially honor those who came before us in this lineage, who have, gave us this opportunity. So yeah, in this way we can keep a broad understanding, but also be very chaste and loyal to our particular tradition.
Thank you, Vasudev Prabhu.
Prabhu, can I offer a response to that question?
Please,
Yes.
but Vasudev, that was a perfect answer. Thank you very much. Beautiful. And I'm sure Adi is going to make it more beautiful.
Well, we're praying to Prabhupada what to say. When we go to the card store to get a greeting card on Father's Day, there's an area for Father's Day cards, and the card says, "World's Greatest Father." You've seen that?
Yes.
So when you take that card, right behind it is another card that says, "World's Greatest Father." So the disciples' mood is, "There's nobody like my spiritual master. He's the world's greatest," and that's appropriate. And on the other hand, in our experience that Krishna's given us, this whole verse is about how exalted are the devotees who are reaching out to the fallen souls, how extraordinary, how superlative, how elevated, how special and honorable they are. So we've had that experience of giving the service of going to 100 people a day, to even speaking to them, offering them, requesting, inspiring, encouraging them to engage in devotional service. And every once in a while, somebody will say, "So you think you're so great that you're reaching out to me, the fallen soul, right? You think you're so great, right? You think you're holier than thou. You think you're better than me." And then Krishna confronted me with that. Do I think I'm better than these people? And praying to Krishna what to say, I found Krishna giving me this way to respond. He said, "No, I've been asked by my spiritual master to do this. So I'm just trying to please him. And he's offered me this service for my own purification. So we are encouraging you to do something that will help you, something beneficial, something, really purifying. But we don't think we're better than you. We're coming as a beggar, as your servant. And I'm just trying to please my spiritual master. And I understand that by approaching you, I'm becoming purified. Because when you ask somebody to reach in their pocket and take out some Lakshmi and hand it to you, they look at you, every single one of them, even just for a second, there's that look. And if somebody's looking at you to see whether or not you're sincere, we have to look at ourselves. We think, well, yeah, why am I doing this? What is my motivation? What is my attitude? What is my consciousness? So they want to know, do you believe this? Are you sincere? Are you trying to exploit me, fast talk me, guilt trip me, get something from me, like everybody in this world is hitting you up for something, But no, as we become purified and we realize that attitude, if you're looking at somebody with dollar signs in your eyeballs, they pick up on that right away. If you don't have the right attitude, I'm here as your servant, I'm here to please my spiritual master. We hope, then when they see that, then it gets to the point where like 95% of the people that you speak to actually give a donation. And that's miraculous because I have no qualification. And before we speak to everyone, we say, "Lord, I have no qualification to speak to this person. I'm here on your behalf. Let me dance as you like." So we are doing this for Krishna's pleasure, for our spiritual master's pleasure, and for our own purification. It's a sacrifice. Anyway, maybe I'm talking too much. Oh, glories to Srila Prabhupada, who's the greatest spiritual master, he's the world's greatest father. And everybody should have that attitude. Oh, glories to Prabhupada.
Yeah, I like that example. Like my father is the greatest father, but we are never great. I may have the greatest father, but that doesn't make me great. That's the most important part. I heard a very nice class yesterday by Hari Parshad Prabhu, was mentioned also. He spoke about the 10th offense against the holy name, to maintain material attachment, even after understanding so many instructions on the chanting of the holy names. So the Sanskrit said to maintain the conception of I and mine. And one way that acharyas explained this is that when you, of course, we get this great gift of the holy name of Krishna. We get this great gift of this exalted spiritual tradition of pure devotion service. There's many spiritual traditions in the world, many religions, but they may not all have a clear conception actually what pure devotional service is. Anya abhilasita shunyam, no selfish desire, and so on. So we have such an exalted tradition where pure devotion, service, and love of God is made so clear as the essence of everything. And we have so many exalted devotees at present and in our lineage who walk that path. And we have this great opportunity to follow in their footsteps and also attain that same goal. But as soon as I think, oh, this spiritual lineage is very great, therefore I am great, therefore I am elite, therefore I am exalted, then that gift becomes it becomes appropriated by the false ego, and it becomes another conception of I and mine. I am great. I am part of a great spiritual tradition. I am great. This is my spiritual tradition. That's why I am great. So then it's when it becomes like that, appropriated by the false ego, and then you start to quarrel with others, you start to debate with others, you start to just become kind of obnoxious in the name of your spiritual tradition, even in the name of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, name of Lord Chaitanya. Then it becomes actually an offense to the holy name, because actually you're kind of using the gift of the holy name to boost up your own false ego, to maintain your conceptions of I and mine, your material attachment.
There's something to be said in that regard. Our older godbrother, Chedi Raj, one time, he was in the prasadam room, and the devotee, Chedi, you give such great classes. You chant so nicely, lead kirtan. You're doing so wonderfully on Sankirtan, distributing books and engaging people. And he was going like this. Like, take it, give me, give me, give me, give me. And what's he doing? And then he went, what can I tell you? My spiritual master is making me into a jewel. So he accepted the praise, and then he, all glories to Prabhupada. So if we're transparent with what we're giving, and when somebody praises us or gives us something, we offer it to Krishna, then we're untouched by that praise. We acknowledge, it's only by the grace of Guru that I can do anything. And so we take it. We
Yeah.
do take it because we're trying to do something wonderful, and people appreciate that, and they praise us, and they respect us, and they contribute. But then we don't think it's for me. Like a lightning rod. When the lightning hits the lightning rod, it's connected to a cable that goes through the ground. So all that heat and energy and power goes down into the ground. But if there was no cable going to the ground, the lightning rod would melt and the house would burn down. So we do accept it. We don't reject it. And we can't help it. People are going to appreciate it because we're trying to do something wonderful. And then we want to give it to Guru. All glories to spiritual master, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Transparency. Sorry to talk so long.
Vedamandra has a question, but I think the conch may blow at any time now.
It's actually just super quick, just to add on to what Adi just said, that Mother Urmila talks about praise as a hot potato, that, when somebody passes you praise, you want to immediately get it out of your hands and pass it along to Krishna, your spiritual master. So I always think like that hot potato analogy when it comes to praise. Hare Krishna.
Ooh, we have
Prabhupada also mentioned in the pastime of Ajamila, who was very fallen and he became purified by the Lord's associates, said we should never forget where we're coming from. We should reflect regularly where I came from and how I got this great opportunity. So if I understand where I come from, what my habits were and so on. It's really it's more easy to give credit where credit is due. Like all this doesn't belong to me. It belongs to my gurus. Yeah.
Thank you, Vasudev Prabhu. Thank you for that last point. I see Krishna Daya Prabhu is smiling mysteriously. He's probably remembering where he's coming from. Yeah, that's true for all of us. Darshan time, dear devotees, please turn on your cameras if you can.
Jai Shri Shri Radha Murli Dhar Gaur Chandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki and attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, walking across the ocean of material suffering, attachment to his lotus feet is perfection that fulfilled all of his orders. He opens my heart and knowledge and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates, and by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor and the Lord and master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your name be spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Shri Shri Radha Murlidhar Shri Gaurachandra, Jai Shri Gaura Bhaktavrinda, which means all the assembled devotees. Okay, would anyone like to speak? This is the afterglow. I think Vasudev Prabhu is not here, but we're all here. We can answer questions collectively. Last call for questions and reflections. Madan Gopal Prabhu, Hare Krishna, please.
Hey Krishna, I wanted to talk about Jeffrey Ackler's question. It was a really good one. I think you also commented again, Jeffrey, if you don't know where you came from, then how will you know where you're going? Cotton Eye Joe. Is that what you said? Okay, anyway. Jeffrey Ackler is laughing, but what I was thinking is that we want to appreciate other traditions. I think actively, like Prabhupada did. Prabhupada did appreciate the Benedictine monks, for example. He appreciated Jesus Christ tremendously. So he appreciated their purity. He appreciated their dedication to finding God. He glorified, for example, when someone told him about Joan of Arc, he's like, yes, how she's not outside of the purview of the Bhagavatam. He talked about that as well. So, and he wasn't insincere or being political about it. He was actually genuinely appreciating. So it is completely possible, not just possible, it's recommended that we actively see the essence that these other traditions, followers of other traditions who are sincere and really running after God and love for God, when we appreciate them in our hearts, when we see the elements of their effort and their pursuit to be the essential part, to be completely in line with what we are also trying, then we see them as our brothers and sisters in that sense, so then that makes it so much more natural when if someone asks or blames us or accuses us of being holier than thou or elitist, or you think all other paths are going to hell. We don't say that. We don't do that. We don't believe that. And look at our record of not just what we said, but how we interact with people of other traditions. See, because sometimes we may say something, but if we interact with them badly also, then that also doesn't look good. So as part of, I'll just talk about what we do in ISKCON Communications. ISKCON Communications is a ministry where we really, we want to actively go out and interact with members of other faiths and leaders of other religious organizations. We call it interfaith, and you're familiar with that concept. And the interfaith fundamentally is about learning each other's tradition and what makes a newcomer attracted, what makes a newcomer compelled to find their tradition compelling. That's really the question we talk about interfaith, not, is yours better than mine, or let me differentiate. We don't have to necessarily do that. It's really about trying to find the common ground and the essence, and this way hopefully unite. And so appreciation for each other actually gives us greater appreciation for God. Because even in the Vaishnava tradition, there's so much variety. Differences of opinion on how certain things should be done, and that's fine too. Even in the spiritual world, you have different circles who think Krishna will be pleased by music, and this other circle might think, no, he likes the other kind of art, and that's completely fine too. We have that opinion, and Krishna not only allows that opinion, he encourages diversity of opinion while still have unity in serving God. So the unity and diversity is such a great angle, and Prabhupada talked about it a lot. So anyway, just a few thoughts that came. It's a great question. It has many repercussions on how you approach that particular question. So if you don't know where you came from, how you know where you're going? Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I really appreciate this deep dive into this concept. This concept that you've described as sincerity. Vasudev described it as like a chastity to the lineage, which is not a way I've ever heard it said, but I love that. The concept of chastity is so ironically been perverted by its use that that we forget that there is a non-physical concept of that. But the other thing that it all makes me think is that there's this relationship between the person and the mind and the senses of action, and that the sincerity begs for alignment between those items, so that the purity of the ultimate act is there. It's something I'm going to be noodling for weeks, if not lifetimes. Thank you.
We were reading yesterday in the Bhagavatam in the second canto. There's a purport where Srila Prabhupada mentions, and the purport was about the different offenses to the holy name. And this is, as far as I can quote it, Prabhupada said, there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to address the Supreme Lord by the name that they're familiar with, and to think that they will not benefit in the same way as chanting Hare Krishna is an offense to the holy name. So if they're chanting Allah or Buddha, who's an incarnation of Krishna, or whatever name that they're familiar with, there's purification there. And to think that they will not benefit in the same way that we benefit by chanting Hare Krishna is an offense to the holy name. So this is directly Srila Prabhupada's words. Somehow a devotee actually thinks, a mature devotee thinks, everybody's a better devotee than me. I'm so blessed to be around these people that are on a higher level. Right? Okay, I'm sorry to talk so long. Over to Prabhupada.
Adi, is that verse Canto 2, Chapter 1, verse 11, where Prabhupada says, such holy names are as powerful as the Lord, and there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to chant and glorify the Lord by the particular name of the Lord as it is locally understood.
Yeah, and then he says, and to think that they will not is an offense to the holy name, because the context of the purport is the different offenses. Cool, eh?
That's awesome. Thank you, Adi. Appreciate that.
We'll go to Prabhupada.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Prabhupada.
I'd like to. I appreciate your point, Adi, and bringing that point out. It's not your point. You're bringing that point out. And one thing I'm just reflecting on around that is it's not something external happening. It's something that shifts. That's happening in the heart of each sadhaka, even if they're in a different tradition. It's what is happening in their heart. How are they having a spiritual transformation by the grace of God, by the grace of Krishna. I'm also thinking this discussion about appreciating others, and they have a different tradition, a different mood, but there's also so many different moods within the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, and we can get in a lot of conflict if we're thinking, the way I relate is the way I'm thinking you should surrender to Krishna, or the way I think you should serve Krishna is right. And what are these other people doing? So there's 9 processes of devotional service, and everyone has their different attraction, different way they're wanting to serve. So when we honor and really think, oh, look at how wonderful they're doing service, how they're relating to Krishna in their way, and I don't have to relate in the same way. I can appreciate, though, and that will increase our bhakti when we appreciate other devotees. But not to think we could get insecure thinking, oh, why aren't I like that? Or we can get very proud thinking they should be doing it like me. But if we're actually rooted in ourself and our own developing our mood, our relationship with Krishna, that will keep us in balance. Haribol.
Thank you, Mathuranath Prabhu. If we chant sincerely, if we practice sincerely, serve sincerely, then we see how fallen we are and how fortunate we are, and then we won't be tempted to judge or look down upon anybody. Jai. Thank you, Mathuranath Prabhu. Great point. Okay, we are going to ask Amrita Kishori Devidasi to recite the Mahamantra. Amrita Kishori. Especially if she's in the office.
What?
It'd be especially sweet if you're in the office or something.
No, I'm still in an apartment. very late. But anyways, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh.
Sweet. Thank you very much. Okay, Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhaktavrinda ki jai. Have a wonderful day. Give it to Krishna and come again tomorrow